Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, checking your phone and seeing your bank balance intact. Everything is there, every single dollar. But when you try to use it, you can't.
It was just an ordinary Tuesday morning in 2034. People were commuting to work, scrolling through their phones and ordering their morning coffees. On the surface, the world looked completely normal. Then, the first credit card was declined. The barista smiled, thinking it was just a temporary glitch, a minor system error. But then, the next customer's card failed, and the next. Within minutes, the same silent panic began rippling across Tokyo, London, and New York. The ATMs were fully lit, but they refused to dispense cash. Banking apps were online, but every transaction hung in an endless loop of processing. People didn't realize it yet, but the digital blood flowing through the veins of the global economy had just frozen, and our modern world cannot survive a heart attack.
Most people think that their money is just sitting safely in their bank account, but the modern financial system is infinitely more complex. Every single day, trillions of dollars flash across global borders. Companies send massive payouts. Commercial banks shift liquidity. Central banks work relentlessly behind the scenes to balance the entire scales. And this entire chaotic ballet happens in a matter of seconds. Because the modern economy doesn't just use money, it is moving money. When you tap your card to make a payment, you aren't just moving numbers on a screen, you are triggering a massive global web.
Hyperscale data centers instantly roar to life. Complex verification algorithms check your identity. International payment networks screen and approve the transaction. And all of this happens in the blink of an eye, completely invisible to the human credit card holder. But if this flow ever stops, the entire world grinds to a halt, because money isn't just a store of value, it is trust in motion.
On the first day, people shrugged it off. They assumed it was just a temporary glitch, a routine server migration that would be fixed by lunchtime. By the second day, lineups began to snarl around empty ATMs. Frustration turned into whispers, and whispers turned into anxiety as the realization set in: the machines weren't waking up. And by the third day, absolute panic took hold. The terrifying irony was that people could still see their money. They stared at their smartphone screens, looking at thousands of dollars completely intact. But it was ghost money. You could look at it, but you couldn't touch it, and you couldn't spend it. Behind the scenes, the dominoes were falling fast. Multi-billion-dollar corporations couldn't process payroll, leaving millions of workers empty-handed. Supply chains choked because logistics companies couldn't pay for fuel or cargo clearance. International trade simply ground to a halt.
On Wall Street and across global markets, stock tickers froze as exchanges halted trading to prevent total annihilation. Central banks locked themselves in emergency war rooms, triggering protocols that hadn't been dusted off since the Great Depression. For the first time in modern history, the global economy was suffocating, because the foundation of modern finance isn't gold or oil or code, it is trust. The moment humanity collectively stops believing that the system will work tomorrow, the money in your pocket loses all its magic. After 72 hours, this was no longer a technical software error. It was a psychological war. And just like every devastating crash in human history, the deadliest virus wasn't the failure of the system, it was the spread of panic.
Perhaps this is the greatest, best-kept secret of the modern world. Money is not the paper in your wallet. It is not the digital digits flashing on your smartphone screen. The only thing that grants it power, the only thing that makes it real, is our collective illusion, our absolute trust in it. And trust, once it is shattered, is the hardest currency to win back. A single catastrophic system error, a sophisticated cyber warfare strike, a sudden meltdown in a remote data center. That is all it takes to plunge billions of human lives into total financial oblivion. Because our advanced, towering civilization doesn't actually run on money. It runs on trust. And when trust stops, money stops moving forever.
We've reached another deep dive here at TheNexus. If this scenario made you rethink the world we live in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next investigation. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe and goodbye.